Hey, welcome to my channel. Hope you'll subscribe, make comments, hit the bell, all that kind of stuff. Help me get this out to more people. I'm teaching the Bible here. That's what we do. A couple of months ago, I was walking across the street from the main office at Myers Funeral Service, where I work, to my office, which is another another building across the street. And a woman and her family called out to me asking if I was Tom West. I told them, yeah, I am, and walked toward them. They explained that they were the family of Dolores Turnbow, who had passed away the night before. And I remembered Doris, and I actually remembered them once I got to talking to them. And they asked if I would perform her funeral, which I agreed to do, and I did do her funeral. And as I spent some time later that day reflecting on Dolores, who was 90 when she passed away, I was taken back 30 years. I had just become pastor of the church I served in Porterville, California, and Dolores and her husband, Henry, visited church. And I called on them and ended up setting up an appointment to come back and study with them, to study the gospel over a period. I think I spent about 3 evenings with them in their home, and studied the gospel, led them to the Lord, and they had made a decision for Christ and were baptized on a Sunday morning. That's where I actually met all the people that were in her family calling to me out in the street. That was in 1992, long time ago, 30 years ago. Now, I left that church in 2005. Henry passed away in 2007. And now I'm back in Porterville and was able to take care of the funeral for Dolores Turnbow. Philippians 2 verse 17 puts it like this: "But even if I am being poured out like a drink offering on the sacrifice and service coming from your faith, I'm glad and rejoice with you." Now, the Apostle Paul was about to be killed for preaching the gospel, but he made some sacrifices on the faith of the people that he was talking to in the book of Philippians. You know, so I sacrificed 3 evenings as a very modest sacrifice of service for Dolores and Henry Turnbow's faith. To know that 30 years down the road, I was performing her funeral, knowing she was in heaven, was cause for rejoicing for me. Little sacrifice, 3 evenings, teaching them the gospel, but a joy to know that that little sacrifice I made it possible for them to be in heaven. And what made it possible was Jesus, but I helped that. I made a modest investment in that by teaching them the gospel. Dolores loved to dance to country music in live bands. She would go to dances and dance because she loved that, and she was always happy, always vibrant and happy. Now, she lived in the San Joaquin Valley. That's Porterville is in the San Joaquin Valley. She was born and raised in Porterville, lived there all her life. And you know what they called her? They called her the San Joaquin Dancing Queen. That's what she was. I rejoice in my very modest sacrifice of time and effort to lead her to the Lord 30 years ago, so the San Joaquin Dancing Queen could do her thing in heaven. I'm grateful that I was able to be involved in her life and lead her to Jesus. Go do the same. It's a blessing. Hope you'll subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll talk to you again soon.